Maryland this morning, and then again as he walked up the steps into the federal courthouse in Greenbelt, Maryland. Reporters were there to shout questions at him, but he did not respond. Breaking news out of Washington, CNBC reporter Eamon Javers announced that the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is going to speak to Chinese trade counterpart. Javers says that call comes after U.S.-China relations hit a rocky patch this week.
And the question is, whether that represents some kind of a breakthrough in this flare-up of tensions that we've seen over the past week, or at least maybe a platform where some kind of a breakthrough could happen.
Those tensions after President Trump levied a 100% tariff on Chinese imports because Beijing announced sweeping controls on rare earth exports. Well, today's conversation could signal progress on that issue. Locally, the investigation into the cause of the deadly explosion at AES has not concluded yet, but there's already a wrongful death lawsuit filed.
Our grounds are that the owner of the factory provided an unsafe condition.
That's attorney Lee Coleman. He spoke with Fox 17 News.
And that's the initial starting basis. My guess is that this complaint lawsuit will be amended over time as we discover more facts.
The suit's filed on behalf of the 9-year-old daughter of one of the 16 victims and that girl's mother, and it seeks $12 million in damages. If you're getting more spam phone calls as of late, you are not alone.
Americans are now getting 2.5 billion robocalls per month. That is the highest level in 6 years. Many from scammers claiming to be from banks. Artificial intelligence is one factor behind the increase.
ABC's Stephanie Ramos. Pesky text messages are on the rise, too, with 19 billion going out every year now. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. New rules for banks. Regulators are doing away with requirements that banks plan for losses in the event of climate change events. Regulators say the banks already plan for emergencies, and regulating climate change response is costly and doesn't improve the stability of banks. Dow is currently up this morning, trading now on 131 points higher. The Nasdaq gaining 9. S&P 500 index is up 5. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. We love those guys. BetterWater.com for your water filter. We got Joan Jones in the newsroom. I know that there's a lot of No Kings protests happening this weekend, but we do have King Louie producing for us. The only king we like, King Louie, filling in for Mason today. What up, Louie? You doing all right, man?
I'm blessed.
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm excited. I'm excited that you're here. Louie does a great job, low key.
I'm excited to be here.
Like Louie has come. You've come a long way, brother, on your board work and everything, man. So I'm excited that Louie's working the board. You doing good? Family good?
6 months today.
Let's go.
Yeah, family's good, man.
I love.
Boy's getting bigger. He's getting smarter.
How old is he now?
He'll be 7 months this next weekend.
Oh man, that's awesome! Congratulations. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Louie's a great guy. Like low key, just we don't hear much from him. He plays the background when he's producing a lot, but behind the scenes here, everybody loves Louie.
He's the best.
He's awesome. We love Louie.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
And so we're excited to have him here, and we're excited to have you guys part of the show. So when I started the show, one of the features that I used to like to do was called Agenda Free Friday. We kind of moved away from it on account of the news cycle. When presidents are almost having the back of their head removed, and we're in the middle of a presidential campaign. We kind of had to stay a little bit more on topic, and that was a me decision. It wasn't like anybody told me to do it. But I wanted to kind of bring back Agenda Free Friday for today. We got a lot going on, and there's been a lot that we've missed. I mean, the news cycle's almost been so hectic that if you haven't been paying attention to every minute of every show on the radio station, you absolutely missed something that you wanted to hear and you wanted to talk about. So we're going to bring that back today. Anything you want to talk about, 615-737-9986. You jump on the phone lines, you jump on the text line, and we can talk about it. We're excited to talk about it. Agenda Free Friday. It's back. 615-737-9986. So just get those calls in and, whatever
At first
you
I
guys.
thought you said gender-free Friday.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Thank goodness. Whew.
We don't do that kind of stuff.
Thought it
on
went
the
off
Chris
the
Hand
rails
show.
here for a minute.
No, we don't.
Okay.
We would never do that, Joan. We don't say that, Joan.
That's right. It's on the long list.
Yep. It's on the list. Agenda. It's an agenda.
Agenda
Like
Free Friday.
What's on the schedule for the day?
Got you.
You know, did you have an agenda in your high school days?
Oh yeah.
We had our agenda book.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nowadays, high school kids can't even read. So
That's true. They also can't write. So
also true.
Yeah.
Also true. So anything you guys want to talk about, phone lines are open. We can squirrel the conversation at any moment and talk about something different. I will start with Trump announcing the meeting with Putin. Fun fact, it was the Kremlin that called the Trump administration. Lesser reported. The mainstream media is not talking about that. But there was a phone call yesterday between the leaders, and Trump announced that they're going to be having a big old meeting. This was announced on Truth Social. It was being talked about while we were on the air yesterday. But President Trump saying, "I've just concluded my telephone conversation with President Vladimir Putin of Russia, and it was a very productive one. President Putin congratulated me and the United States on the great accomplishment of peace in the Middle East, something that he said has been dreamed of for centuries. I actually believe that the success in the Middle East will help in our negotiation in attaining an end to the war with Russia and Ukraine." President Putin thanked the First Lady Melania for her involvement with children. He was very appreciative and said that this will continue. We also spent a great deal of time talking about trade between Russia and the United States when the war with Ukraine is over. At the conclusion of our call, we agreed that there will be a meeting of our high-level advisors next week. The United States initial meetings will be led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, together with various other people to be designated, a meeting location to be determined. President Putin and I will then meet in an agreed-upon location, Budapest, Hungary, shout out to Viktor Orban, to see if we can bring this inglorious war between Russia and Ukraine to an end. President Zelensky and I will be meeting tomorrow in the Oval Office, where we will discuss my conversation with President Putin and much more. I believe great progress was made with today's telephone conversation. Are we going to have another peace deal? It feels like we're going to have another peace deal. Is it just me? Zelensky's coming to the White House today. Trump's going to tell him what's going to happen. I truly believe that. Will Zelensky wear a suit? Me and Dan talked about this on the podcast. A new episode of Mostly Peaceful will be dropping tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And we talked about this. And I said of his last suit, it reminded me of what a gay married man would wear to his husband's funeral. That's the kind of suit that Zelensky was wearing the last time. Will he wear a nicer suit? Will he wear a suit at all? These are things that we're going to be paying attention to today during that meeting. I don't know why, but that's what I'm going to be paying attention to. President Trump yesterday inside the Oval Office was talking about ending wars, and he had some questions. He said, "Did Biden ever end any wars? What about Bush? Those guys end any wars?"
I don't know. Did Bush ever end? Do you think Biden ended a war? Biden started wars because he was stupid. But do you think Biden ended any wars? No. I don't know of anybody that ended wars. I ended 8 of them. And it's going to be 9. I think we're going to have this one done hopefully soon. But I'll be meeting him probably over the next 2 weeks.
It's going to be 9. I love the confidence. And how can you see this as anything other than President Trump making it happen again? I honestly thought that this one was going to end before Israel and the Palestinian conflict. I think everybody thought that this one would be over the quickest, and it seems to drag on and on and on. In the meantime, it's just a meat grinder on that battlefield, and enough life has been lost. So I pray for peace, and I pray that President Trump will make this happen. Along with Vladimir Putin, it's going to take 2 to tango, let's be perfectly honest. A lot of the pressure, though, that Trump has been putting on Russia, I think, is going to help the peace deal. He's offered to give Ukraine Tomahawk missiles to go deep inside of Russia. He got India to agree to stop buying Russian oil, or not as much Russian oil as they were. That's a huge blow, especially considering India is one of the BRICS nations. So we'll see what happens, and we're going to continue to pray for peace. The peace deal in the Middle East is a bit tenuous these days, and we knew it was going to be. I don't think that that's a shocker for anyone. I'll be honest, you got Hamas slaughtering suspected adversaries in Gaza. They're not killing Israelis. I don't know. I have... You get the government that you voted for, right? But President Trump did threaten to go in and kill terrorists on Truth Social, saying, if Hamas continues to kill people in Gaza, which was not the deal, we'll have no choice but to go in and kill them. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, I think it begs the question, who exactly is going to go in and kill them? Who is that? We do know that J.D. Vance, this was over the weekend, right before, over last weekend, right before the peace summit in Egypt and the speech of the Knesset. J.D. Vance was on, I believe it was ABC. Well, he was on every station. He was on Face the Nation. He was on Meet the Press. He was on George Slobodopoulos' show. But he said, it was Meet the Press. He said, there's no way that there's going to be boots on the ground in Gaza, U.S. boots. So I tend to believe the vice president. So when he says we're going to go in and kill them, I think President Trump, when he says we will have no choice, I think he's more talking about the Israelis as opposed to American troops, but only time will tell. There was the New York Post reports disturbing footage emerging on social media showing the public executions of Palestinians who were blindfolded, forced to their knees before they were shot from behind by Hamas gunmen. The terror group claimed the targeted Palestinians were criminals and collaborators with Israel, according to the BBC. Following the breakthrough ceasefire that has stopped for now 2 years of war, Hamas has worked quickly to reassert control of the Gaza Strip. The terrorists have targeted so-called clans, or family-centered armed groups that got stronger during the conflict sparked by the terror attack on the Jewish state. Over the weekend, as the agreement with Israel held, Hamas-led fighters battled an armed group in Gaza City tied to the powerful opposition Dogmush family. Hamas is supposed to give up its arms as part of the U.S. brokered peace deal, but the terror group has signaled no intention of doing so. We'll see what happens. They have to give up their arms, and they have to give up control of the territory. That is part of the 20-point peace plan. We'll see. Pray for peace. I mean, I think that's what we can do. On another front, back here at home, John Bolton has been officially indicted by a grand jury, and earlier this morning, he turned himself in. No perp walk, No 3 a.m. Raid. No handcuffs. He turned himself in. I think that's the right move. That way you don't make it seem like you're going after your political enemies. And we talked about this with Comey. Same deal. The prosecuting attorney is going to make the call on that, and I think it's the right move. I do. But he's in some big trouble. John Bolton being charged with the Espionage Act, 18 counts, emailing classified documents to his wife and daughter, and he knew what he was doing was wrong. President Trump was also asked about this yesterday, and he went full Ruth Bader Ginsburg. He's like, "Wow, you're telling me for the first time. I didn't know that when they told him that John Bolton had been indicted."
Just indicted by a grand jury in Maryland. Do you have a reaction to that?
I didn't know that. You tell me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person. I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy. It's too bad, but it's the way it goes.
The case against him?
It's too bad. But that's the way it goes. He's a bad guy.
That's the way it goes, right? That's the way it goes. Will I what?
Have you reviewed the case against him?
No, I haven't. But I just think he's a bad person. Okay, anybody else?
No, I haven't reviewed the case against him, but I do think he's a bad person. I mentioned earlier, who gets the first mustache ride in federal prison? I think that's what everybody's going to be paying attention to. Will he serve jail time? Maybe. But I would pump the brakes a little bit. The judge that got the case is an Obama appointee. Maybe you've heard of him, Judge Theodore Chang. Chang is the same judge who issued a preliminary injunction blocking President Trump and Doge from dismantling USAID. It was overturned on appeal, but Chang is also the judge that blocked Trump's travel ban during his first term, which was then overturned by the Supreme Court. He's no Trump fan. It seems like this case is ironclad. We'll see what happens. But earlier this morning, he did surrender himself. Fox News had the call, and they had video of him walking himself in to turn himself in, and I thought that was pretty cool that they were there. And this is how it sounded on Fox News.
Bolton arriving at a United States District Court in Greenbelt, Maryland. He is expected to surrender after being indicted on 18 counts over the alleged mishandling of classified documents. Bolton faces 8 counts of transmission of national defense information and 10 counts of retention of national defense information.
That's the call of Fox News, and I think that we can all wonder who's choosing their music. Did you hear that music? Sounded like an 80s nightclub. What is that? Is that just me? Am I the only one that got distracted by the music? He's walking into court, and it sounds like he's walking into a discotheque.
Bolton arriving at a United States District Court in Greenbelt, Maryland. He is expected to surrender after being indicted on 18 counts over the alleged mishandling of classified documents.
It's like Night at the Roxbury. What the hell is that? I would have chose better music. You know that. You know I would have chose better music. Everybody, that's one thing we can all agree on. So that's John Bolton. He's screwed, people are saying. 18 charges, 26-page indictment, the Espionage Act. This is how MSNBC covered this last night. Nicole Wallace had a friend on the air, and she broke down the indictment.
Yeah, so John Bolton was charged with 18 federal counts, and I apologize, I'm going to look down. I'm reading this. We're still just getting this. We have the first 8 counts are transmission of national defense information. The second set of 9 counts, that's counts 9 through 18, is retention of national defense information. And that looks like it's U.S. Code Title 19, Section 793D and E, which is part of the Espionage Act. Now, there was another statute that they were considering, and it looks like they've only charged him with those Espionage Act statutes, but we're still reading through this indictment. It's 26 pages long. There's a lot of background information here, and I apologize, but we're literally just getting this in right now.
So MSNBC with the call on the field there, 18 indictments. It does seem pretty serious. Fox News said Bolton might also be a target because he could know of other deep state criminal activity. We'll play you that audio when we get back. A lot to cover. It's 9:22. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We've got some details about the case against John Bolton. Also, waiting to see if Ukraine's president spiffies up for another White House visit today. That's coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm sorry, I'm reading the text line, and people are referencing the music on Fox News as John Bolton's walk-up music. And I got a text, 1761 cracked me up. He says, Bolton's walk-up music goes weird. Matches the mustache, though. It does match the mustache. Did you miss the walk-up music?
Bolton arriving at a United States District Court in Greenbelt, Maryland. He is expected to surrender after...
I was looking at the YouTube chat, too, and Jeb said, Mommy, what's a mustache ride? Nothing. We're not answering that question. Who gets the first mustache ride in federal prison? Will he go to federal prison? I don't know. He's got no criminal record. Well, how old is the guy? He's like 76 years old.
Yeah.
And then he's got an Obama judge on top of all that. I don't know. I just hope they drag out the process. Sometimes the punishment is the process. We'll see what happens, and we'll pray that they throw the book at him. All right, so what did I say I was going to do here? I had something else that I wanted to do here. Oh, yeah, Fox News. They were talking about how John Bolton, that he could be a target because of information that he could have on other deep state actors. And I think the thought process is here that he may just turn out to be a dirty, no good, stinking rat. And I could see that happening. This was Fox News last night.
Regs, there's no statute of limitations on this. He continued to possess classified documents.
Yeah, Will, I'll tell you, I've worked on these cases both on the prosecution side and on the defense side, and I'll tell you they are very difficult cases to defend against because it is, in essence, a simple analysis. Is the document classified? Is it in your possession? Did you purposefully possess the document in question? And then you reach other analyses. You look at what was the purpose for the possession to determine whether or not additional charges may be brought. Remember, though, I'm very mindful of the fact that Bolton has a lot of knowledge and a lot of insight. There's may be an effort to also get his attention and get him talking about other things that he may have information about. This is just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg. I think it's a difficult case to defend against. He, of all people, should know. Doesn't matter if it's old or new materials. If it's classified and you possessed it, then it could be a crime.
Does he know enough, and is he scared enough to turn on the homies? I think that's a question we're all going to be asking. I feel like if you're gonna find a guy that's going to rat on everybody, John Bolton seems like he would be a rat. Is that just my own personal opinion? It is my personal opinion. He looks like a guy that would rat on people. 9:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, yes, John Bolton got up bright and early this morning and headed off to federal courthouse in Greenbelt, Maryland, to turn himself in to federal authorities. He's under indictment for mishandling classified information.
In August, federal agents searched Bolton's home in Maryland and office in Washington. The president insisted he knew nothing about it.
I purposely don't want to really get involved in it. I'm not a fan of John Bolton.
Prosecutors say after Bolton left office, a cyber actor believed to be associated with Iran hacked his personal email and obtained those diaries. Biden administration officials asked Bolton about the alleged hack, but the indictment claims the former national security advisor made no mention about any potential classified information involved. Prosecutors say documents found in Bolton's home range from sensitive to top secret.
That's ABC's Pierre Thomas reporting. Another visit to the White House today for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky for a meeting with President Trump. Now, this comes after a 2-hour conversation between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday. ABC's Mary Bruce.
Zelensky has been asking Trump for powerful Tomahawk missiles capable of striking deep inside of Russia, something Trump said he discussed with Putin.
I did actually say, would you mind if I gave a couple of thousand Tomahawks to your opposition? I did say that to him. I said it just that way. He didn't like the idea.
As for Trump's sit down with Putin, the president says his top advisors will meet with their Russian counterparts next week. He says his face-to-face with Putin will come shortly after.
And that face-to-face meeting will take place in Hungary. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
938 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. President Trump made a big announcement yesterday when it comes to IVF. And I'm interested in what the pro-life crowd thinks of this. I understand it's been a bit of a discussion with the pro-life crowd, but it was a big announcement in the White House yesterday. We understand birth rates in this country have been declining. The left's solution is importing new people. And conservatives, I feel like we need to make it easier for families to grow and have more kids. President Trump taking a step to make IVF cheaper.
Fertility drug used in IVF is currently 700% more expensive in the United States than the rest of the world. And, we're ending all of that. It's called favored nations, and we're ending it, and we're ending it pretty fast. Nobody thought we'd be able to do it, and we've done it. Drugs are going to come down. Drug prices are coming down 400%, 200%, 600%, numbers that nobody's ever seen before. Great for Medicare, Medicaid, even Social Security. Great for everything, I think, Dr. Oz. So that's something, to me, it's very exciting. I'm bugging him and Bobby all the time. How are we doing with that? And we're doing really good, Bobby. It's really going good. Other countries are agreeing to it because if they don't, we put tariffs on them. And then they agree. So it's amazing.
So he's lowering the cost of a drug called Pergoveris, I believe it's called. I know Mr. Trump had some trouble saying it yesterday as well.
Be working with the company to expedite review and approval of another common fertility IVF drug, and currently it's selling in Europe. It's Pergoveris. Pergoveris. And that's a sounding nice name. Pergoveris. Why can't you name them nice, simple names? Nice, easy names. Doesn't matter. If it works, that's all we care about, right?
Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that I have all the answers on IVF, and I'm actually very, very torn on the topic, and that's why I'm asking you, if you're a pro-lifer and you have a harsh opinion or you're steadfast on your opinion on IVF, to call in 615-737-9986. There's arguments against IVF that you get from the pro-life crowd, and the main one is that IVF creates and destroys a lot of embryos. And a lot of pro-lifers say that embryo is a human life. And when you destroy it, it's just as bad as abortion. I'm torn. I'm torn, especially when you see the declining birth rates in this country. And further, I know people that have been blessed by IVF, people that couldn't have children in my own extended family and friends that we have. And friends of my kids are IVF babies, and these kids are a blessing to their parents' life. But there's some questions about IVF, especially when it comes to the designer baby mindset, where you can pick certain features of a baby. You can screen and discard embryos. People are saying that this is devaluing the process. They say that it turns reproduction into a business. It's treating kids like products. And I wonder if you have an opinion on it. I wonder if you're willing to forego that because of the declining birth rates and the need to promote having more children in this country. 615-737-9986. Dr. Oz confirmed that President Trump's goal is to surge the birth rates and that this is one of the ways that he's going to do it.
And you're probably right, there are going to be a lot of Trump babies. I think that's probably a good thing. But it turns out the fundamental creative force in society is about making babies. It's about creating. And this country, the one that President Trump is leading so beautifully, has been a country of abundance, not scarcity. To have abundance, you have to address the fact that we had 3.6 million babies last year, which is beautiful. 3.6 million miracles. That's 500,000 less babies than we would ideally have had, even to replace our current population.
The birth rate crisis is a real thing. Is there better ways to deal with it other than IVF? I think that's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Or is IVF good? Do you view it as a good? I'm just so torn, man. I am completely torn on this one. Bobby Kennedy says the birth rate is a national security crisis.
Thank you for your vision, your commitment to our country. When my uncle was president, the fertility rate in this country was 3.5%. Today, it is 1.6%. The replacement rate, in other words, the amount of fertility that you need in order to keep your population even, is 2.1%. We are below replacement right now. That is a national security threat to our country. And we know why this is happening. And President Trump is addressing the root causes through his MAHA agenda of reducing endocrine disruptors, the exposure to chemicals that decrease fertility.
I mean, there's a lot of contributing factors, especially when it comes to sperm counts and the like. And I'm no scientist, and I don't know all the answers. But we can look at the hard data and say, yeah, there's a birth rate crisis. You can look at other countries dealing with it as well. Japan jumps out to me as a huge one. But is IVF the answer? Let's go to Brian. What do you got, man?
Hey, Chris, I'm a Christian conservative, and I've got no problem with IVF except for the process. I think that it can be changed and done humanely by just doing it's a numbers game. They say it's not efficient unless they do say we'll throw out a number of 100. Well, then just get 100 customers and fertilize one egg from each, at a time. And if it doesn't take, then fertilize the next egg. That would take all the problem out of it. It wouldn't be like abortion then.
So, but you do think that when they go overboard and they're doing it with all the eggs, they're fertilizing all of them, that it is equal to abortion if you're not following through.
Yes, most definitely. I think that's just as bad as abortion.
How do you think that would work, fixing that with legislation? Do you think that there would be pushback?
Well, you got the pro-abortion people that they just don't care about life, and there's always going to be a fight, even in that process.
What about when it comes to designer babies and picking eye color, picking hair color? Does that give you the heebie-jeebies a little bit?
Yeah, that goes right. I believe that if Hitler could have done that, he would have done that to create the perfect Aryan race, and it smells of that. I think that's just wrong. You leave that up to God.
I'm with you on that. Well, I appreciate the call, Brian. 615-737-9986. That's kind of where, I don't know. I'm kind of with Brian, more in the middle. But I do understand the pro-lifer arguments, especially when you're fertilizing tons of eggs, and then you're only following through with one of them. It seems a bit messy, and it seems completely against what we preach on the pro-life side. But if you got a strong opinion on it, 615-737-9986. I'm getting some texts in. Chris, I'm going to tell you, brother, I've got 2 beautiful grandchildren that come from IVF. My daughter's pregnant with the 3rd, and they have 1 more egg frozen. Brother, in the state of Tennessee, you cannot destroy eggs. Do they either have to pay to keep them frozen, donate them to somebody else, or implant them? Valerie says, my pro opinion on IVF. IVF is for people who want to choose to have kids of their own genetics when the natural method doesn't work. Instead of choosing adoption, kids are kids. If you want to be a parent but you can't have one of your own, why not choose adoption? I think we do need to make adoption a bit easier in this country. And I would like to go back to a biblical view of adoption, a mom and a dad. I think that's far more important. 1747 said, I remember when this birth rate concern was a conspiracy theory. Yeah, me too. 0625, I agree with you. It's got to be, if an egg is fertilized, it's got to be used. I am for IVF, says 4432, but we need to address childcare costs. People are having fewer babies because they don't think that they can afford them. We actually, me and Mandis talked about this a lot on our podcast that drops tomorrow, Mostly Peaceful, which will be out at 6 a.m. We do have to do something to encourage having kids in this country. Maybe that's a tax credit. I don't know what it looks like. But I do understand it's expensive. I would say that there's no right time to have kids. It's always going to be more expensive than you can afford, but it's always going to be worth it. I have some friends that work in media, and they chose not to have children. That's just a choice that they made. And my wife and I were were looking at some of their photos, and I said, yeah, they have a fun life, but I bet you they have a very empty life. And it's hard having kids, and at times it's expensive having kids, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Scott says, Chris, like you, I'm torn, but I've heard the argument that an embryo outside the womb can never be viable without it being implanted. Confusion is one of my dominant traits. I'm with you. 5284 says, remember when Governor Bill Lee campaigned on making adoption easier for us all? Yeah, I do. Bill Lee not doing things weird. Got a text here, 4896. Chris, I agree with adoption. However, adoption doesn't make the percentage of birth rates go up to that 2.1%. Good call. That's true. But the left's solution is going to be importing more people. I don't know if IVF is the right solution, but I'm just torn on this. Chuck says, so you support socialism to increase population? No. Who said that? I do believe in making things easier on moms and dads out there. I do. John in Lawrenceburg said, Chris, just because you can do something does not mean you should do something. That's fair. But yeah, this is where we're at. Valerie is also a pro-lifer, said, I chose not to have kids, and our life is anything but empty. Maybe that was a poor choice of words, but there's a certain joy that you get from having children that is just different, and it's hard to explain to people that don't have kids. We were talking with Louie earlier, who's got a 7-month-old baby, and it's the biggest part of your life that you never know was missing. It's just different, man. It's different. 7079, the hospital costs alone giving birth is insane. You used to be able to purchase a home for the amount it costs to give birth today. That's true. 5139, my kids looked at adoption. It was more expensive because of all the legal fees. This is the guy that said he has 2 beautiful grandchildren that come from IVF. But listen, my kids have friends that are IVF babies. I have family that have had IVF babies, and they're blessings. I'm not knocking it. I just think that there could be a better process instead of getting rid of all of the embryos that have been fertilized. It does feel like that is antithetical to the pro-life movement. This is where I'm at. You tell me if you disagree or agree. 615-737-9986 is 950. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's a first for the U.S. A couple of Antifa members have just been hit with terrorism charges. We've got that story coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Government shutdown still in full effect, too, and no time like the present to keep it going, actually. Nobody's voting on it, and we got a long weekend. Another long weekend for everybody in D.C. That's nice. That's nice. We're going to have Monica Page joining us from the White House here after 10 o'clock. She might be a little bit late to the party. She says with Zelensky coming in, there's a lot of roads closed around the White House. So it's not as easy to get into work today as it usually is. I told her don't stress out, especially, if nothing's going on. The government's shut down.
Why'd they close the roads?
I think it's because Zelensky's coming in. This is just something that they do with world leaders.
Yep.
So they're she's trying to get in. She said maybe around 10:10 she'll be jumping on with us. So we're looking forward to that. Meanwhile, government shut down. J.D. Vance says it's because everybody just wants to fight against Trump.
Even if you had all 53 Republicans who would support a health care program, you would need 7 Democrats to get on board. So we're going to actually force the Democrats to work with us and to actually enact some policy. And this is what's been so crazy, Greta, about being in this town for the last 8 months. The Democrats' entire obsession is fight Trump, get Trump, attack Trump. When they get the majority, if they ever get the majority, they're going to try to impeach Trump. And we know that, and that's their sole focus and their obsession. We would actually like to work with the Democrats on fixing health care for the American people. Unfortunately, we haven't found much willingness across the aisle to do that.
No, and health care does need to be fixed. I saw some reports last night where with the Obamacare subsidies ending, which was written into the law to sunset by the Democrats, mind you, that people's their ACA deductibles is going to go from like $200 to $2,100. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. But the real fight is because Chuck Schumer knows that if he bends the knee and comes to the table for the CR, which he's already voted for plenty of times, he's going to be primaried. Donald Trump was talking about this with Maria Bartiromo, Chuck knows that he's on borrowed time in the Democrat Party.
Mr. President, do you think that the government shutdown is all about this rally that's happening this weekend, the No Kings rally?
No, I mean, some people say they want to delay it for the king. This is
more
not a
than
king. They're referring to me as a king. I'm not a king.
Right. No, but just so that Chuck Schumer could go and say, I'm fighting Trump.
Well, Chuck is, at the end of the line. He's being beaten by everybody that they poll against him. And, what he did is he did the right thing a couple of years ago on something like this. And he got hurt by his party. And it doesn't, I don't think it matters to him. I think he's just so dead that he'll do anything. I think they could just stay out forever. I mean, to be honest with you. Now, what we're doing is we're cutting Democrat programs that we didn't want because, they made one mistake. They didn't realize that gives me the right to cut programs that Republicans never wanted. Giveaways, welfare programs, etc. And we're doing that, and we're cutting them permanently. We're cutting a $20 billion project that Schumer fought for 15 years to get. And I'm cutting the project. The project is going to be dead. It's pretty much dead right now.
Hey, shutdowns have consequences, and President Trump is not going to back down. And I love what he's doing when he's finding money to pay the military, which I personally, I think that he said that he had a big donor come in to help him with that. I think low-key, I think it was Elon Musk. That's just my opinion. And he also found money via the tariffs that is bringing money in for the women and infant and children food programs so nobody goes hungry. This was going to be a huge weapon that they were going to use against Donald Trump and the government shutdown, and Trump took it away. And he's using it to his benefit, as you heard him say there, to cut all sorts of Democrat programs. There's a silver lining to the government shutdown. It's not just the lack of chemtrails in the sky. It's cutting these government programs as well. 10 o'clock, this is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And for the first time, federal terrorism charges have been brought against two alleged Antifa members. Cameron Arnold and Zachary Evans were charged with providing material support for terrorism, attempting to murder officers, and firing their weapons on those officers when they attacked an ICE facility in Alvarado, Texas on July 4th. FBI Director Kash Patel on Fox Business this morning.
A police officer was actually shot in the neck. These guys came and staged a scene at a detention center using fireworks, then brought in long guns and rifles. They were kitted out in bulletproof vests and masks and opened fire at law enforcement.
Last month, President Trump designated Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. The first lawsuit now filed over the explosion at the munitions company AES on the Humphreys-Hickman counties border.
A wrongful death lawsuit has been filed by attorneys on behalf of the 9-year-old daughter of Jeremy Moore, one of the 16 victims killed in last week's explosion there at AES. The suit accuses the company's parent, AAC Investments, of failing to maintain a safe working environment. Attorneys are seeking up to $12 million in damages, including $9 million in punitive damages. Investigators say no one survived the blast. AES had previously been cited for safety violations. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
A Nashville dad facing charges after crashing his car on Fairway Drive with his two kids in the backseat. Police say the man was pretty drunk.
According to the arrest warrant, John Plaskett's blood alcohol level was nearly 3 times the legal limit. Well, that crash happened yesterday on Fairway Drive. Police now saying that Plaskett had a 6 and a 9-year-old both in his backseat.
Channel 4's Holly Thompson. That police report said Plaskett could barely stand on his own. He's been charged with DUI and child endangerment. A new state audit claims that Tennessee's Department of Health failed to investigate thousands of nursing homes in complaints for as long as 5 years. News 2 attending a legislative hearing where State Rep Ronnie Glynn pressed the Health Facilities Commission Director Logan Grant on those delays.
How long have you known there was an issue with these surveys, complaints?
Since day one. Since the responsibilities were brought over to us, we inherited a backlog, a substantial one, and then we've been trying to increase our capacity to perform surveys in the meantime.
Grant says that they need more money to hire more employees. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got Joan Jones in the newsroom. We got King Louie producing today. Mason's out. He went to a concert. I don't know what concert he went to. Probably wasn't a good band, though. Full disclosure. It's terrible taste in music.
Day concert?
He's going to a concert tonight.
Oh, okay.
He road trips. He road trips to concerts.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, dude, we live in Nashville. You know that they'll come here too. But he does it. He has fun. Have a blast, Mason. I'm sure he's listening somewhere. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch the show as well. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, and YouTube. Find the show. If you're on any digital platform, hit like, hit subscribe, and hit the share button. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. It does help the entire staff here, so we appreciate you. Plus, when you watch on the stream, you'll get video for all the audio that you hear. We're waiting patiently for Monica Page to be joining us. It's a big day at the White House. Zelensky is going to be joining President Trump at the White House, so because of that, there's a lot of roads closed around the White House, which has delayed Monica a little bit. And I said to her, I don't know if you guys know this, Monica actually just announced that she is pregnant. So I gave her an out. I said, all right, I don't want you to rush. I don't want you to stress out. Like, just, we can reschedule. And she's, no, I'll make it. Just probably going to be closer to 10 past the hour as opposed to anything else. So I was like, all right, if you can make it, that's cool. But like, don't feel the need.
She probably had to find a restroom.
Maybe.
Pregnant women pee a lot.
Probably. Fact check true. That is absolutely true. My wife, when she was pregnant with our second son, he was throwing haymakers in the womb. It would like almost knock her over in the grocery store, and she'd be like, "Oh no, I just peed a little." I'm like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?"
It happens.
It's wild, man, but it's such a blessing, and we're really excited for Monica and her husband Dan, Daniel Baldwin works at OAN, also a White House reporter. Those guys are going to have some wild stories to tell their kid when the child grows up. Government shutdown still in effect. It hasn't stopped Hakeem Jeffries from busting stupid, dope rhymes. This is him the other day.
House Republicans shut the government down. Then they ran out of town. And for the last 3 weeks, they're nowhere to be found.
Do the Democrats frown? Is that no? It's so bad. It's so bad. So cheesy. So cringeworthy on so many levels.
House Republicans shut the government down. Then they ran out of town. And for the last 3 weeks, they're nowhere to be found.
Is that so? You sure about that? We all understand why the Democrats haven't negotiated at all. It's Chuck Schumer. He's nervous. He doesn't want to be primaried by AOC. They want health care for illegal aliens. We know that. They're making it about the subsidies now. Now the same subsidies that the Democrats wrote into the bill that would sunset. This was because of the Inflation Reduction Act. This was always part of the plan. They're gaslighting. It's gaslighting on a whole new level. I'm here for it. Let's wait it out. Let's wait it out as long as as we can possibly do it. And I think that they're going to have to bend the knee. I got fact checked by a bunch of people saying, no, there's lots of chemtrails in the sky today. You know, it's illegal in Tennessee to be spraying and to do the geoengineering, the weather modification. It is a real thing. There's no enforcement arm of that. Monty Fritz, who is running for governor in Tennessee, is the guy that really pushed that in the state legislature and got it outlawed here in Tennessee. But there's no enforcement mechanism behind it. It's kind of got no teeth. I want to get Monty back on to talk about that. I don't know if Monty has a shot in the governor's race. I mean, if we're being perfectly honest, he's got an uphill battle in front of him. But maybe he can continue to do good in the state legislature. I like Monty Fritz a lot. It does look like a bit of a foregone conclusion, though, that Marsha Blackburn is going to be our nominee for governor. And John Rose is in second. It's not a close second. And I like John, too. John seems like a really great guy. He lost a lot of the audience here, though, in the marijuana discussion. But it's not like Marsha Blackburn is pro-pot by any stretch of the imagination. But that's where we're at. Government shutdown continuing. We're, day 17 now? Day 17? And they got a long weekend. They're gonna take a long weekend in D.C., so there's no way that is going to change anytime soon. So that's where we're at. A lot of people talking about the government shutdown, and nobody willing to talk to each other about the government shutdown. J.D. Vance was talking about the government shutdown. This was his take.
Had all 53 Republicans who would support a health care program. You would need 7 Democrats to get on board. So we're going to actually force the Democrats to work with us and to actually enact some policy. And this is what's been so crazy, Greta, about being in this town for the last 8 months. The Democrats' entire obsession is fight Trump, get Trump, attack Trump. When they get the majority, if they ever get the majority, they're going to try to impeach Trump.
He's absolutely right. It's all fight Trump, stand against Trump, no kings. That's going to be happening, and we're going to have a lot of no kings protests in Tennessee. I think there's 30 statewide. They're gaslighting, though. They're making it about the subsidies. John Thune, Senate Majority Leader, actually offered the Democrats a vote on their Obamacare demands in exchange for reopening the government. He offered them a standalone vote on extending the enhanced Obamacare subsidies in exchange for voting to open the government back up. The Democrats rejected it. He said on MSNBC's show on Thursday, at some point, the Democrats are going to have to take yes for an answer. He said, can I guarantee an outcome on that vote if we offered them a standalone vote? He said, no, I can't guarantee it's going to pass, but I can guarantee them the vote. Senate Democrats have voted 9 times now to block a House-passed resolution to fund the government through November 21st. This is what they always do. They kick the can down the road. Then right before Thanksgiving, they get a bill that's loaded up with a bunch of pork, and then they hope that nobody notices as they're skating into the holidays. 3 Democrats or Democrat-aligned senators, Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada, Fetterman out of Pennsylvania, and Angus King out of Maine have voted to end the debate on the funding bill, but the remaining 44 are not coming to the table. We need 5 more to make it happen. Democrats have demanded an array of concessions on health care policies, reports the New York Post, including a reversal of GOP champion Medicaid reform and an extension of pandemic-era enhancements to Obamacare tax credits, which are set to expire at the end of the year. Thune and other GOP leaders have previously said that they would consider a measure to extend some increased Obamacare subsidies, but have been adamant that the debate be kept separate from the funding of the government. Republicans have also made clear that they want to attach reforms to any extension of those subsidies. They said, we're all about getting health insurance down, making it more affordable to more people, Thune said. On Thursday, there's a pathway forward for an Obamacare extension, but it has to include reforms. Another schism between the two sides, reports the New York Post, is demands by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who in his spare time does bust stupid dope freestyles.
House Republicans shut the government down. Then they ran out of town. And for the last 3 weeks, they're nowhere to be found.
Hakeem Jeffries, when he's not rapping, he's adding more wrinkles to the fray. He wants any Obamacare subsidy extension to be permanent. Mike Johnson has kept his chamber out of session for weeks as part of a strategy to pressure Senate Democrats into endorsing the temporary spending bill. The current government shutdown record is 35 days. What's the over/under? I think we're going over 35. I think we're going even longer. That was set during a funding pause that lasted from December 22nd, 2018 to January 25th, 2019 during the first Trump administration. Thune said, I hope it doesn't last through Thanksgiving because that's going to be a lot of harm to the American people and obviously a lot of harm to federal workers. I think we're going past Thanksgiving. Joan, do you think we're going past Thanksgiving?
I do.
I think we're going past Thanksgiving. I think that's a preconceived notion at this point.
They're all in. The Dems are all in.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. They're really digging their heels in. Both sides are. I mean, let's be honest. Both sides are. But I think that we have more of a leg to stand on than the Democrats. That's just me.
However, Republicans have to come up with a new spending plan that they'll have to vote on. The current bill, the current CR has a shelf life. So they're going to have to come up with a new one at some point.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
So it remains to be seen whether they'll change any of the conditions within that.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll see what happens.
Mhm.
Hey, did you send that link to Monica? Okay, so she said she didn't have the link. Hang tight. So Monica should be joining us soon here.
Monica's on now.
Oh, she's on now? Monica Page, welcome to the Chris Hand Show. How are you? How's traffic in D.C., Monica? We got her up? Can she hear me? Bear with us. Yeah. So this is not Louie's fault. This is just Mason usually does a lot of this stuff, and Louie fills in from time to time, but I always throw him a new wrinkle because we have a fill-in producer. So we'll get Monica on here momentarily. Monica, as soon as you start hearing me talking, just say hello and jump right in. But we appreciate Monica joining live from the White House here on Super Talk. Do we have her on the video at least? Yeah. Monica. We're waiting for Monica Page to join us. Is she potted up on the board? Yeah, you got her? Monica, are you there? Testing. Monica Page.
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good. Tell you what we're going to do. Let's take a break real quick early, and then we'll fix this on the other side, and we'll have Monica join us here after the break. 10:19 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Coming up, an October 7th attacker has just been arrested living in Louisiana. And wait till you hear how he came into the U.S. We've got that and more coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Have we fixed the technical issues with Monica Page live at the White House? Monica Page is going to be joining us live from the White House North Lawn. We do this pretty consistently, but we have Louis filling in, and there's always a technical glitch that we're trying to work through. Monica, can you hear me? How are you? Monica Page? Monica.
Yes.
Hey, what's up?
Oh
there
my
you are.
gosh.
Sorry about that,
Long
Monica.
time no talk, Chris. I'm so sorry I'm late. The roads are closed around the White House. It's a madhouse outside. I'm telling you right now. It's crazy.
Don't apologize. First things first, congratulations, Monica Page. I'm so excited for you. You got a new baby that you're going to be welcoming into the world. What's the due date for the baby, Monica?
So, Chris, it's so funny when you had texted me, you were like, you think you accidentally called me mom instead of Mon. And I'm like, he has no idea that I'm actually pregnant. My due date is April 3rd.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a boy. So we're very excited.
It's a boy. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It seems to be a great time to have a kid. People are always nervous about having kids. Like, oh, it's so scary out here. I'm like, man, if you raise a conservative kid in 2025, they'll be running circles around the leftist kids. So
yeah, I mean, this administration is really setting you up to want you to have families. I mean, we're excited to have a Trump account for the baby. I mean, that's an extra $1,000 investment over time. That's going to be at least maybe even six figures by the time he's 18. So that's very exciting.
Let's go. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. It's the biggest part of your life that you didn't know was missing. You are going to be an absolutely fantastic mom. So as I'm looking on the stream here, you got a flurry of activity behind you. Explain to me the scene at the White House today.
We are expecting Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky this afternoon. This is his third or fourth time here at the White House. But what's different about this visit this time around is that the president held a more than 2-hour-long phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin just yesterday. They plan on meeting in Hungary maybe in the next week or two. So this meeting with Zelensky is going to be kind of a big deal. So far, as we know right now, it's closed off to the press. That could change. It's not going to be in the traditional Oval Office that we usually see. So that's what's going to be a little bit different about this time. Maybe it'll be a little bit more of an intimate conversation. I know that Zelensky plans on asking Trump for tomahawks. I know Putin is not too happy about the United States giving Ukraine more tomahawks and more weapons, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what comes out of this meeting, but I'm expecting it to be kind of a long conversation. I do know the president wants to get out of here by 3 p.m. Eastern time. He wants to head over to Palm Beach, Florida, where he'll spend a nice weekend, where he much deserves a relaxing weekend. But we'll see. We'll see what comes out of this White House. It's going to be very busy. I mean, when the foreign press comes to the White House, Chris, you never know what's going to happen. It's always packed.
Is the vibe on the ground that we are close to peace with Russia and Ukraine? I mean, given what we've seen with the president do in the Middle East, given the request for Tomahawk missiles, the pressure that's been put on India to stop buying Russian oil, are we witnessing a perfect storm for peace with Russia and Ukraine?
I think that's the perfect way to put it, that it is a perfect storm. I mean, the mood on the ground is kind of like we're all sort of waiting in anticipation. Is today going to be the day? Is now going to be the time that, things are finally going to start shaking up? Are we going to finally see peace now? It just feels like things are starting to come to a head, kind of like a volcano. We're still kind of waiting. It's a waiting game, but it's all on the Russian side, unfortunately. So we're just kind of, what's going to come out of this meeting in Hungary in the next couple of weeks? That's what all eyes are going to be on in the meantime. But, if President Trump pulls this off, he said he was expecting this war to be the easiest one to resolve, but it's not looking like that. So if he can accomplish peace in the Middle East with literal terrorists, it'll be very exciting to see him accomplish this new feat. And I think he can do it. I think he's going to pull it off, at least before the new year.
If anybody can do it, it's President Trump. And I think you're right. We all thought this was going to be the first one over. But to get peace between Israel and Gaza, that was unbelievable. Explain to me the president's week and what it's been like witnessing this firsthand at the White House.
Oh, it was ridiculous. In the beginning of the week, the president literally took off for Israel, spoke with the Knesset for like an hour, spoke to press, did interviews, spoke with world leaders, took photos, literally signed the Gaza peace plan, met with the president of Egypt, spoke to press again. It was just nonstop go, go, go. And then he flew back home to the White House on what, Tuesday morning, early, like 2:30 in the morning, and then hosted the Charlie Kirk Memorial Presidential Medal of Freedom ceremony just hours later, set it all up, had members of the Turning Point USA family right here at the White House. It was just nonstop for the president. And it seems like this whole week, all the days have just been meshing together, holding these hours long conversations with foreign leaders. This president just doesn't stop. I have no idea how he sleeps, but that overseas trip to the Middle East was insane. It was just one thing after another. And he didn't say no to the press. He did interviews, he spoke, took questions, did photo ops. He was just all in. And it's just incredible to see a president that works this hard. I have never seen anything like it, especially after covering Joe Biden for the last year and a half. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So he gets in at 3 a.m., and then you have the Medal of Freedom. And I know that hits close to you, hits close to home, and for me as well. What was it like being there during the Medal of Freedom ceremony?
You know, there are a lot of different ways to describe it because it was both sad, but it was kind of like a celebration of his life. But the best way that I think I could put it was hauntingly beautiful. It wasn't necessarily an ominous vibe. That's like the worst word to use. It wasn't ominous. It was hauntingly beautiful because all day leading up to this ceremony, it was cloudy, it was overcast. And as soon as this event started, the sun started peeking out. You hear Ave Maria playing on the speakers in the Rose Garden. You know, everyone's just kind of taking photos, and it just feels very bittersweet. We just can't imagine that this even happened. It still feels like a huge chunk is missing, especially as we're seeing Turning Point USA grow in exorbitant numbers, thank God, but it just feels like a huge chunk is missing. But the president did it justice, and to see his widow Erica up there as well, it was a very beautiful ceremony. I don't know, it just felt different. Things just feel different, Chris. I know you probably understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's been wild, man. And I know you got to spend some time down at Turning Point headquarters last week. How's the staff holding up? I mean, I'm talking to as many people as I can, but I'm also trying to give them a little bit of space, because I know they're getting hit up by everybody, right? So it's like I don't want to be just adding to that noise, but being there firsthand, how's everybody doing?
I'm glad you asked me this question because when you see the memorial outside the headquarters in person, it feels totally different than just seeing it in a photo or in a video. Or when you see it in person, it really just like rips your heart out. It's absolutely devastating. And there's a mood on the ground where it's like, we're excited to be pushing forward, but there's just a huge elephant in the room, and we're missing Charlie. And I know that like he's in a better place watching us and celebrating from above, but there's always that but. Like it would be so much better if he were here seeing all the progress for himself in person. But we got to keep pushing forward. We got to keep getting the work done. It's what Charlie would have wanted, and that's what we kind of keep telling ourselves in our heads.
Yeah,
this is what he would have wanted. Keep pushing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you nailed it on the memorial at headquarters. When my wife and I went down there for the memorial service and we went to HQ, and one of the things that struck me about the memorial that's at headquarters, and I'm glad it's still there, we were wondering how long it would stay there, but was the care that everybody seemed to have at the memorial. Nobody's putting stuff down on top of other people's things. It's like everything has a place, and it's really touching to see it and how like sprawling it is.
Yeah, what's really beautiful, I was talking to one of the girls who does PR at Turning Point, and she said they have been getting packages and things in the mail, of course, like crazy. But she said the number one thing that they've been getting are packages of blueberries for their daughter. It just keeps pouring in. People keep sending crates and buckets of blueberries for their daughter. And that, I don't know, it makes me tear up. It makes me feel very emotional. And when I was out there looking at the memorial, you see flags from different countries coming out to support. You see letters, you see rosaries, which is just beautiful. And then you see like little baskets of blueberries.
Yep.
And I'm like, yep, yeah, everything, like you said, everything has a place and a special meaning. Everything's done very intentionally.
Yeah, I mean, the blueberries broke me when we were down there looking at the memorial, and it's truly touching to see the outpouring of love and support. With all the news at the White House this week, real quick, what's a story that we haven't been paying attention to that we should?
I think the way the mainstream media has been covering the mass exodus of press at the Pentagon, I think that's been really crazy. I actually saw it for myself. I went to the Pentagon 2 days ago. I interviewed the Department of War press secretary, and coincidentally, that was the day that all the media had to be out. If you didn't sign the agreement form by 5 p.m. Eastern time, you were out of the Pentagon. And I saw like all the desks and chairs being moved out of their little workstations. It was crazy. And the way the mainstream media is covering it hasn't been accurate because the press secretary herself said, listen, we're not, this isn't an attack on people's First Amendment rights. We're just limiting your access to going into Pete Hegseth's office or Raising Cane's office. Like, I can't go into Trump's office right now. That's a security breach. I'd probably get kicked out of here. But the mainstream media has really been putting up this fight up against the Pentagon. And I think coming soon, you'll be hearing some major news regarding the new media outlets at the Pentagon. So out with the old, in with the new, get ready.
Oh, we'll be looking forward to it. Monica Page is down at the White House. It's going to be a big day, and we're looking forward to speaking with you again to get all the updates. Monica, how can we keep up with you, especially today with all the news that's happening at the White House?
Thanks so much, Chris. You can find me on X and Instagram at Monica Page TV. That's where all the updates come through and all the videos and clips and day-to-day what's happening. So thank you so much, Chris.
You're one of the best reporters, and congratulations again on the brand new baby that's on the way. We are so excited for you. That news trumps everything else. Monica Page, congratulations. 10:33 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Some storms moving in this weekend. Stefano DiPietro telling us that the threat level is a 1 out of 5 along and east of I-65, and it's a 2 out of 5 west of I-65.
Heavier rainfall is almost a guarantee, but no major flooding is expected. These storms will be moving pretty quickly. Strong wind gust threat has been elevated a little bit more. There's not really a big threat for large hail, but that low-end threat of an isolated spin-up tornado.
Storms arriving sometime between 10 o'clock and midnight tomorrow night. An endangered child alert has been issued this morning for a 17-year-old from Lebanon. Marley Wilson was last seen just before 1:30 this morning wearing a black top, blue pajama pants with the character Chucky on them. She was also wearing yellow Crocs. Now, the TBI says she may be driving a gold 2014 Nissan Versa with Tennessee tags, and they're thinking she could be in the Smyrna area. I've posted her photo on my X account. You can find me at Joan Jones WTN. And breaking this morning, a man living in Louisiana has been arrested, charged with taking part in the October 7th attack in Israel. His name, Mahmoud Amin Yaqub El Mutadi. Now, the 33-year-old was expected to make his first court appearance in St. Martin Parish this morning. He entered the U.S. on an immigrant visa in September of 2024. It appears he was on one of those immigration flights of the Biden administration. Customs and Border Protection said he came through the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. And in social media posts, he was seen posing with a Glock pistol. That is the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
1040 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I was texting with Monica Page just a moment ago. Anytime I have a guest, like the first thing I do after we end the break is I send them a thank you for jumping on. We get these interviews and they don't get paid to do it. They do it out of the kindness of their heart. And she's awesome. But she said it feels great to be back on the show, but she was so sick. She said the first trimester has been kicking her butt. So say a prayer for Monica for me, will you? And for that baby that she has on the way. April 3rd is the due date. That's exciting, man. That's exciting stuff. Congratulations again to Monica Page. Find her on X at Monica Page TV. It's Paige, Monica Page TV. And send her a congratulations, will you? Let her know that this audience is praying for her and loves her and all that. That would be clutch. I know that she would absolutely love that message from you. So I appreciate you guys doing that. We want to talk about some things that doesn't get talked about too much. Memphis hasn't been as big of a story. And we thought there was going to be a lot more pushback with what's going on in Memphis, the National Guard being brought in and the like. But it hasn't been a story. And I think it hasn't been a story because, well, it's working. And the citizens of Memphis love what's happening there and appreciate it. Riley Gaines tweeted this video out. It's been going viral. Young man who is overly appreciative of President Trump, the Trump administration, Governor Lee, and the National Guard being sent into Memphis. Listen to this and tell me that this isn't the sweetest kid on the planet. And shout out to this young man for making this video. Oh, hang on one second. I got too much audio running in the background. Where am I going? Hang on one second. Am I potted up over there? Is that what's going on? Check. Yeah, you hear that audio coming back at me? There, mute yourself on the screen share. Boom, got it. So there we go. No worries. So this is the young man from Memphis who is thanking President Trump, Governor Lee, the Trump administration, and the National Guard.
My name is Braylon, and I live here in Memphis. I've been noticing not just a slight change, more of a detrimental change in like how peaceful Memphis is ever since the National Guard came. There was a lot of things I couldn't do before the National Guard came because I had to worry a lot about guns and stuff. I couldn't play because I was worried that somebody might pull out a gun or something, but now I could do that, and I just wanted to thank the President of the United States for bringing the National Guard.
I mean, how awesome is that? How unbelievable is that? That's what we're doing it for. They'll say that, oh, Trump is an authoritarian, and oh, how could he do this? He's militarizing our streets. And it's like, no. We're doing it for that young man who deserves to be able to play outside safely and not have to worry about a drive-by shooting. And, I mean, I don't know if you know Memphis, but you see some of these videos that are coming out of there, and I don't know if it'll last. I don't know if the moves that they're making are going to be working forever. But even if it's just a couple weeks, even if it's just a few months, even if it's just a year, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. I got a text from Karen, and she said, my daughter is a 911 dispatcher in the surrounding area. They have over 9,000 felonies on the books that were not entered in Memphis and only have space for 2,800 people in the jail, the 201 popular jail in Memphis, and they have not been entering their felonies. This is one of the ways that they've been saying that crime has been coming down, right? But we all understand what's happening. Now, with these young kids, making them think twice from jumping off the porch and grabbing a gun and choosing violence, that's unbelievable. The ripple effects of that are going to be felt. Like gang violence in a lot is retaliation driven, right? And if you can create some sort of pause, then there's nothing to retaliate against. This is what we're doing it for. They're doing it in Chicago as well, and they're trying to do it in Chicago, but they're getting a lot of pushback. I saw this video. It's so frustrating. So a federal judge had ordered that the fence that is around the ICE facility in Broadview needed to be removed, and this is before the large No Kings protest that's going to be happening. We got 30 of them in Tennessee. They're not going to be anything like what you're going to see inside areas like Chicago and D.C. But in Broadview, Illinois, DHS was ordered to remove the fencing around the ICE facility. You think that makes anybody safer? There's videos of them taking down the fencing. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. There was another ruling. An Obama-appointed federal judge, Sarah Ellis, has ruled that all federal agents operating in Chicago under Operation Midway Blitz must now wear body cameras. And I'll be honest with you, I actually like that. I like that a lot. And I don't think it's going to work out the way the Democrats think it's going to work out. But this is the call on the field here from CNN.
Breaking news, a federal judge issuing a major expansion her order concerning federal agents involved in immigration operations in Chicago. She says all of them must have body cameras, all the agents there, and then they have to keep them turned on while they're deployed throughout the city.
I think that's a good thing. I think that's great. Then people can see what these ICE agents are up against in this city. You're getting so much narrative and spin from the left wing politicians, the mainstream media. Perfect. You want ICE agents to wear cameras? I do too. Let them see the insanity that these ICE agents are having to put up with. Let them see the vitriol that these ICE agents have to put up with. Let them see the vehicle rammings, the threats against their life. Let everybody fully expose it by all means. It's not gonna play out the way they think it is. Another crazy story coming out of Chicago. ICE has arrested a Chicago area police officer because he was an illegal alien. What? This is a crazy story. Suburban Chicago police officer was detained by ICE officials because he overstayed his visa by a decade. Rajul Bojevic, a Montenegro native who serves with the Village of Hanover Park Police Department, was taken into federal custody during Operation Midway Blitz. DHS announced this yesterday. He was hired by the department in January of 2025 after passing the background check and providing all documents, including a valid and recently renewed work authorization card, according to a press release from the Village of Hanover Park Police Department. The police department noted that at the time, his background check didn't flag any prior run-ins with Illinois State Police or FBI, according to the press release. But the bottom line is that all the information we received from the federal government indicated that the officer was legally authorized to work in the United States. As a police officer, clearly without that authorization, we would not have hired him. Additionally, the village has not received any notice from any federal or state agency that his work authorization status has ever been revoked. DHS officials, though, lambasted the entire situation as an example of Governor J.B. Pritzker's Illinois, saying in a press release that Rajul Bojevic violated our nation's laws and was living illegally in the United States for 10 years. They said his B-2 visa that he was staying here on expired in 2015. They said, what kind of a police department gives criminal illegal aliens badges and guns? It's a felony for aliens to even possess a firearm. A so-called law enforcement officer who is actively breaking the law, DHS Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs Tricia McLaughlin said. Under President Trump and Secretary Noem, ICE is restoring law and order. Criminal illegal aliens have no place in our communities, especially on our police forces. Fun fact, this isn't the first time we've found an illegal alien working at a police department. If you remember over the summer, there was one at Old Orchard Beach in Maine. Let's go to Dave in Smyrna, who has a thought on ICE agents. What's up, Dave?
What's going on, man? It's your favorite Hebrew.
What's up, dude? How you been?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Hey, I can't complain. What's your thoughts?
Well, I like you. I think this body cam thing. This has the potential to backfire dramatically and be a gold mine for those who are in favor of law and order.
Yep.
You know, you already have the people of Chicago. I saw yesterday 2 different TikTok videos from a couple of African American ladies who lived on, I think it's like the west side of wherever that building was that they took down in the middle of the night. And both of these women on their video, they were saying, you know, y'all need to stop saying that they're coming for black folks, because they're not.
Yep.
The building that they came to was overrun by Venezuelan gangs.
This is the building that they had the helicopter hovering above, and the ICE agents rappelled down because they were going after high value TDA targets.
Yep, and I mean that's classic SWAT type stuff. Bottom up, top down, and you squeeze them and you get them.
Yep.
Like that's tactics 101. But yeah, the people of Chicago, and I really think this might be Pritzker's farewell too, because you can only pee on people's leg for so long and tell them it's raining before they get really mad. You know, this guy is sitting here saying Chicago's perfect.
Yep.
Are you serious?
It's
really, dude? Because I don't think you're living in the same Chicago.
No, he's definitely not. And he has the benefit of his security forces around him at all times. And it's a huge joke. The citizens know what they're up against, and they've been up against it for a long time. So it's like any help they can get, they want.
Well, you know, and it's a shame because, like Memphis, and I lived in both cities. My dad was in the Navy, so I lived in Chicago for a while. I spent most of my years in Memphis. I grew up down there. And it breaks my heart to see really cool cities. Chicago's an awesome town. Memphis is an awesome town. And it kills me that, like, you know, Memphis was always grimy. There are always places you didn't go, but you could at least go to Beale Street and not worry about getting killed.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you know,
and
I
hopefully
left in 2002 and it was bad.
Yeah, and hopefully those days are coming back. I mean, my wife worked for a record company for years and years and years, and she would have to travel around to different markets and go see the radio stations. And Memphis was in her territory, and this is 10 years ago. And they said, we don't want you visiting Memphis.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, and I know when I left Memphis to go to culinary school, I lived in Pittsburgh, met my wife, and when we moved back down here, she said, I'm not moving to Memphis.
Yeah.
I'll move to Nashville, she said, but even if we could live in Germantown, she's like, we still have to go into Memphis for stuff.
Yep.
And I was like, no, you're right.
And who could blame her, man? Who could blame her? But it does look like, you know, even if it's only a temporary pause, it does seem like it's getting better rather quickly. And
I agree. And I'm glad to see it.
Me too, man. And so it's for those young kids. It's like everybody should be able to go to the playground and have fun and be able to ride their bike on their street and not have to stress about it. And they'll call us evil and they'll call us racist, but it's like, no. I'm worried about those kids in that community.
Yeah, I want kids to be able to go out and play football and,
Amen.
you know, play basketball without having to worry about catch it from a stray.
Dude, exactly. That's what this is all about. Like, let's focus on the kids. Dave, I appreciate the call as always, man.
Chris.
Yeah, you too. 615-737-9986. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for United Structural Systems. You know them as the best, USS. We got some rain coming to the area this weekend. Have you been kicking the can down the road on your waterproofing issues? Maybe today's the day that you give them a call and say, I'm not going to ignore the red flags anymore. Maybe you got some warning signs about your foundation. Maybe you're not even aware that they're warning signs. Let me ask you this. Are your floors sagging? Are cracks showing up in your drywall? Do you have doors that won't just shut right? These aren't small problems. These are red flags. And that could mean there's something wrong with your foundation. Now, listen, it's not going to fix itself, and a solid foundation is the backbone of a strong home. When it weakens, it's only going to get worse with time. So call the best. Call United Structural Systems. These guys have been doing the work since 1994, keeping Tennessee homes dry, stable, and secure the way they should be. They use American-made adjustable steel supports built to last and backed with a transferable warranty. This is how confident they are in the work they do. You can leave the house. The warranty can stay. What other company does this? It's unbelievable. When it comes to your home, don't kick the can down the road. Call the people we trust, United Structural Systems, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or find them online, ussTN.com.
All right, drivers, Eastern Split. TDOT reporting a crash eastbound there at 52 A and B. And very slow traffic now, 40 both east and westbound between Spence Lane and Briley Parkway. Tracking the potential for severe storms this weekend. And we'll tell you what former National Advisor, Security Advisor it is, John Bolton pleaded today. Coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, I was going to go with what he pleaded. That's what I was going to do here, but I'm not going to spoil Ken Weaver's newscast because we're friends.
Well, they may already know.
People can guess, I'm sure. But I will tell you this, with the risk of extreme weather over the weekend, the entire team is ready and standing by. And should extreme weather happen, all of us are ready to jump on air and provide you the latest updates. We're also going to be jumping live on the YouTube stream should extreme weather happen. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, I suggest that you do. And then there's a little bell in the top right-hand corner. Turn that on for notifications. Now, I get it. You don't want notifications on all the time because you know when Mandis' show starts, you know when my show starts, and I get that can be annoying. But after Murphy's show today, turn the notifications on because should extreme weather kick off, and we go live on YouTube, it'll ping to the front of your phone, and then you can follow us for all the weather coverage that we may or may not have to do. We're all ready in case of an emergency to go live from our respective locations, and we'll provide you with the latest updates. So find us on YouTube, turn on those notifications, hit like, and hit subscribe. Ken Weaver in the headlines right now on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, tracking the potential for severe storms this weekend. The timeline is between 10 o'clock Saturday night, 3 o'clock Sunday morning. Everybody east of 65 is at the lowest level 1 out of 5 risk. Everybody west of 65 at a level 2 out of 5. Can't rule out tornadoes with this if storms do actually occur. Full forecasting coming up in 5 minutes. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton has entered a not guilty plea to all 18 counts in his federal indictment related to the alleged mishandling of classified national defense information.
In August, federal agents searched Bolton's home in Maryland and office in Washington. The president insisted he knew nothing about it.
I purposely don't want to really get involved in it. I'm not a fan of John Bolton.
Prosecutors say after Bolton left office, a cyber actor believed to be associated with Iran hacked his personal email and obtained those diaries. Biden administration officials asked Bolton about the alleged hack, but the indictment claims the former national security advisor made no mention about any potential classified information involved. Prosecutors say documents found in Bolton's home range from sensitive to top secret.
Now, Bolton and his team assert the indictment is part of a retribution campaign by President Trump. Breaking news out of Washington, where CNBC correspondent Eamon Jevers announced that the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will be speaking today with his Chinese trade counterpart. He says the call comes after U.S.-China relations hit a rocky patch this week.
And the question is, whether that represents some kind of a breakthrough in this flare-up of tensions that we've seen over the past week, or at least maybe a platform where some kind of a breakthrough could happen.
Yeah, President Trump levied 100% tariffs on Chinese imports after Beijing announced sweeping controls on rare earth exports. More information about a new alert from the FDA today. Here's Morgan Norwood, who reports the agency's expanded its cinnamon recall.
Has found elevated levels of lead in some ground cinnamon brands. That includes Wise Wife, Dura, Heyte, Roshni, and they're sold at your stores like Dollar Tree. Now, the FDA says this kind of exposure can be especially dangerous for kids and pregnant women. It affects brain development and behavior over time. No reported illnesses, but the agency is urging families to check those labels and throw out any recalled products. You can find the full list of brands on the FDA's website.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thank you, Ken. Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res of Nashville. You hear me tell you all the time, 4 kids, 2 dogs. The real beating in my home is taken by the carpet. And my wife and I used to stress out. My 3-year-old she does windmills. She does the spinning around with an applesauce pouch, and it gets everywhere. And would be like, Millie, what are you doing? Now we don't even panic. We just call Zero Res. And it's the best because they don't use harsh chemicals, they don't use soap, and they don't leave behind residue. They use their exclusive ZR water, which means your carpets don't just look insanely clean, they stay clean longer. So then the kids can sprawl out on the floor. We can do applesauce windmills all the time, and we don't have to stress. Right now, they're cleaning any room in your house for just $45. This is a great deal, and it's not just carpets. They do air ducts, tile, rugs, upholstery, the works. Perfect if you're planning on hosting any parties or you're going to be cleaning up after you host any parties for the holidays on the way. Talk to Zero Res of Nashville. Give them a call. The review's through the roof. 615-535-9376. 615-535-9376. Or find them online, zeroresnashville.com. It's 11:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch the show. We're on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all the platforms that you can listen to online. Have a share button. Please hit share. Share the show with your friends. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. If you haven't liked or subscribed to our Rumble or YouTube channel yet, please do that. Might seem like something so little, but it really helps. So a moment ago, I played this video of a young man in Memphis thanking the Trump administration for making the city safer again for the kids.
My name is Braylon, and I live here in Memphis. I've been noticing not just a slight change, more of a detrimental change in like how peaceful Memphis is ever since the National Guard came. There was a lot of things I couldn't do before the National Guard came because I had to worry a lot about guns and stuff. I couldn't play because I was worried that somebody might pull out a gun or something, but now I could do that, and I just wanted to thank the President of the United States for bringing the National Guard.
He wanted to thank the President of the United States for bringing the National Guard. And I played that video. And I said, no, nobody's given that the play it deserves. But we also haven't been seeing the pushback that we thought we might see with the National Guard in Memphis. And when that's happening, I'm playing that on the air. My friend Scott Sapicki, state representative, texts me. He says, we're doing a lot of good in Memphis. Joining us now on the line is Scott Sapicki with an update on Memphis. Scott, how are you, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I just stopped the tractor. I was out brush hogging. I'm like, I got to call in because there's great things going on in Memphis right now.
Well, and it seems like nobody's really touting the successes. And to me, it means that the successes must be pretty big.
Well, they are. I mean, what a lot of people are missing and nobody's talking about is we've located 43 missing children, with the bulk of those being young girls.
Wow.
In Memphis. Think about that. If we didn't do this with the president, those 43 kids would still be missing. Their lives would still be in jeopardy, and now they've got a chance of recovery.
That is incredible. And it's only been a couple of weeks.
2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks and over 800 arrests. We've confiscated over 184 illegal firearms, and 911 calls are down. Violent crime is down, and people are out walking about. My son plays football for Memphis, and I said, have you noticed a difference? And he said, Dad, first of all, everybody drives slower now, and everybody uses their turn signals, and everybody's a lot friendlier when they're driving. But he said, you don't see the violent intersections with people exchanging gunfire anymore. You don't see people doing donuts in the boulevard stops anymore. It's becoming more of a peaceful, quieter town.
And that's what I'm hearing as well. But you're hearing a lot less from local leaders. Although I will say, Justin Pearson, who is going to be challenging Cohen for that congressional seat, he said that this has been a military occupation. I'd love to get your reaction to this clip.
So there's a reality of fear that exists, and still there's a persistence of spirit, of resilience in our community that we're not going to be broken down. We're not going to be bent. We're not going to be broken by this administration trying to tell us that we don't have the right to self-govern, trying to tell us that our community is not sacred and beloved and a wonderful place to be, that the narratives that they're trying to put on us, we're not going to accept. And instead of having a military occupation, we want resources for poverty eradication.
Your thoughts, Mr. Sapicki?
Well, I think the young Mr. Pearson is extremely misguided in his beliefs. I don't think he understands how much money we spend in Memphis for grants, for programs. We spend the most for a district in Shelby County in the state of Tennessee in education, over $1.2 billion. I think what he doesn't like is people coming in and investing in his community and basically showing Memphis of what the opportunities could be through law and order. And it just sounds like he supports status quo. And under status quo, remember this, Chris, 43 young children would still be missing.
You're absolutely right. Does this guy have a chance to beat Cohen in the congressional race? I feel like he does.
Oh, no, I think he has a definite chance. And as a member of the General Assembly, I might be cheering him on.
Is that so?
Well, I mean, he wouldn't be in the General Assembly anymore.
Well, but you'd get another one of him popping up, right, in his place.
Well, that's true, but maybe we have, after this interdiction in Memphis, maybe we have people thinking with clear heads that there are other opportunities to choose who leads your city.
Do you think that the citizens on the ground are going to see that in that reality and then change the way they vote?
I think 100%. The conversations that I deal, and I deal mainly with education. I've been dealing with church groups down there for over a couple years of mothers pleading with us to take over the Memphis school system because their kids are winding up on the streets in these gun battles. And I think we've reached a point in time in the General Assembly that we're going to have to make some extremely tough decisions on how we're going to liberate Memphis from this grip of tyranny and evil that has it. And I think one of the first steps are what we're doing with crime. I think we need to keep an eye on our district attorneys down there and our judges, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then lastly, as you know, we've got a bill on the House floor coming back in January to give the Commissioner of Education the ability to take over a school system and get it turned around. I think all necessary things have to be done to turn our major metropolitan cities back into what they could be, right? What Memphis could be, Chris.
So, and I think that we need to do that, and we need to focus on it. And I think when you hear that message from that young boy who's like, "Thank you for letting me play outside and not have to worry about drive-by shootings and guns," that's what it's really all about. How long does this last, Scott?
Well, I think you're going to see the blueprint for success being mapped out in Memphis right now on how you're going to do this in other cities. Maybe Nashville's next. But I would say short term, I would say National Guard for probably maybe 60 days until we get things stabilized, because you're going to see this big upswing of law enforcement having these tremendous results, and then you're going to see it plateau and start to come down. And when it starts to come down, I think that's when the exit strategy starts.
Does it return back to the same way it's been as soon as the National Guard leaves? Because I think that's a lot of fear.
Well, possibly, but I think what you got to think here is Memphis is probably over 200 officers short. And honestly, who wants to patrol there because it's so dangerous? But if we can flip the narrative through this intervention and make Memphis attractive for individuals who want to get into law enforcement and patrol and keep Memphis safe, maybe that's how we're able to flip it through, hey, let's make a drastic change now, and then we'll get people excited about going back into Memphis to maintain what we started.
So one of the big issues with Memphis, though, hasn't exactly just been law enforcement. It's been prosecution and not letting these guys back out on the streets. How do we change that atmosphere and that issue?
Well, we had I think it was a couple years ago, we had a rogue judge down there that was just letting everybody out. And we had a resolution or a bill on the House floor to remove that judge. And she was calling our bluff, and we brought the bill up on the House floor to remove her. And then all of a sudden, boom, she resigned from her spot. I think we have to let people know that, hey, we are not going to stand. And this isn't just, me from Murray County. I think we have to send a message to the elected officials and the people in law enforcement in Memphis is we are not going to tolerate this anymore because there's 7 million Tennesseans that are expecting us in the General Assembly to get it right, and we're going to get it right.
Well, you mentioned hundreds of arrests. Has it still been a revolving door with low bail, no bail, and letting these criminals back out on the street?
No, the good news is we're starting to see people. Now, remember, a lot of these arrests, you could have a want or a warrant because of multiple speeding tickets or parking tickets where people go in, they pay their fine, and they get out. But the ones we're seeing that have violent histories or have been arrested, like a felon that has possession of a firearm, no, they are getting to see the inside of a jail cell.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Scott, will you keep us updated on what's happening in Memphis?
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks so much. Scott Sapicki on the line, giving us an update on Memphis. Thanks so much, Scott. You can get back to bush hogging now. Appreciate you, man. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Another part of the conversation that we were talking about a moment ago was the fencing that's being removed around the Broadview ICE facility in Illinois. I will say this. There are new reports coming out now ahead of the No Kings protest, which could get dicey tomorrow in Chicago. We got about 30 of them that are going to be happening around Tennessee. I don't expect that that's going to be anywhere near what you're going to see in some of these major cities. But with a federal judge saying you have to take the fencing down around this ICE facility, we've received an update, a surge in troops and in authorities around that Broadview facility. Fox News reporting on that moments ago.
ICE processing facility for illegal immigrants who've committed violent crimes. So that's their processing center. We have seen this before. It's been a very busy couple of hours, and it continues. Senior correspondent Mike Tobin is in the thick of it there. Mike.
And Harris, in the last half hour or so, we saw another dust-up with protesters and law enforcement. What it was in this case is a couple of protesters got in the street, and the Broadview police picked them up and pulled them out, and that caused a lot of anger, a lot of volume, a lot of shouting. Let me give you a look down Beach Street. This is where the fence used to be on Beach Street, and now what you see out here live are a bunch of state troopers. Now, Chief Thomas Mills told me that they were going to put a gate in that place. Right now, since that fence was removed by court order, there's nothing but manpower blocking that street, and you can.
So they're surging in, and it still blows my mind that a federal judge would order them to remove fencing and make ICE agents and federal agents less safe. It's insane. They don't want to protect the people protecting the community. It seems like they want to make it harder for them to do their job. But they're showing up in force, showing up in numbers. If you're watching us on the YouTube stream, I mean, you see a wall of police officers there on the video, and I'm glad to see that.
See, those are Illinois state troopers with their helmets and truncheons at the ready. There's another layer of state troopers a little further up the street here. And now what you've got are the demonstrators who are gathered, all the flags, and one of the things you'll notice with a lot of them that they've got their helmets and they've got the Home Depot's painter masks ready to go. What we usually see when the clashes occur, they usually occur on Sundays and they occur on Fridays. And in this case, we saw a clash that occurred before the designated protesting hours. The protesters started coming out here onto Beach Street. The police wanted to move them off. By my count, I saw 9 people who got zip-stripped, loaded into a Cook County Sheriff's vehicle, and transported from this location. I'd ballpark it at a little less than 100 people who are out here right now, chanting, making noise. And the big thing right now is they want to keep them in the designated protest areas and out of the street.
But they're limiting their free speech. No, they're not. As you heard him say there's a designated protest area. You're free to protest. But these things do get dicey at night. This is something that we're going to be paying attention to, and something that we're going to be praying that there's no violence and that we keep it as safe as humanly possible. Chip in Columbia, real quick on the No Kings protest. What's up, Chip?
Hey, yeah, I'm the one that did on the 11th, September 11th at Vanderbilt with the Charlie Kirk sign. And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got kicked out of Vanderbilt because it's private, et cetera. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in Columbia, I will be on North Garden and 6th Avenue doing basically a counter-protest for the No Kings. And I just want to let anybody that's on our side know that I will be there, and I'd love for them to show up.
Yeah, man, I'm with it, Chip, and I appreciate what you're doing, man. I'm going to be paying attention to the one in Murfreesboro. They've moved it to downtown. I've been following the Reddit threads. They're like, the location's secret. It's like, okay. Like, we're doing it for our safety. It's like, are you? I don't think that the No Kings protests around here are going to get as dicey as they could in some areas. I don't see that they're going to be bussing people into Tennessee. I think we're just going to have a lot of leftists doing lame protesting. Did anybody tell them that we don't have kings? We haven't had one since 1776. Weird. There's a woman, though, that she put out a video that's going absolutely viral in regards to the No Kings protest, and she nails it. I'll bring you that video when we get back. It's 11:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock Store, and tomorrow is the big day at the Glock Store. We're talking about Vortex Day, going on from 9 to 6 at the Glock Store. It's going to be fun, especially if you have never shot with Vortex Red Dot Optic or any Red Dot Optic. You see, Vortex just introduced the enclosed versions of their Red Dot Optics, along with a brand new multi-reticle aiming system. Just $10 plus a box of ammo is going to get you into one of those private shooting rooms to have a personalized Red Dot Optic training session. You can't beat this deal. And when you decide, after you do that you just have to have one of these Vortex Red Dot Optics, well, you can apply the cost of the ammo to your new Vortex Optic. Plus, Vortex is allowing the Glock Store to break their minimum pricing rules and slash the prices to ensure they're the lowest in the country, period. But only tomorrow on Vortex Day and only at the Glock Store. And, of course, there's going to be lots of great Vortex swag giveaways, including they're giving away 10 of the new Red Dot Optics. That's a $400 prize you might win just for showing up. It's only at the Glock Store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, especially tomorrow for Vortex Day.
All right, drivers, I see very slow traffic, 40 east and westbound between Spence Lane, exit 213, and Briley Parkway, exit 215. This is reported by TDOT. Not exactly sure what's going on there. But keep an eye out for a gold 2014 Nissan Versa with Tennessee plates, maybe in the Smyrna area. It's part of an endangered child alert for a teenager last seen in Lebanon. 1-800-TBI-FIND is the number to call if you see that. Got that and top stories coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So 3449 texts in. They're a hate listener. They're a liberal. They're always welcome to call in. I would love that. But they said, is a counter protest to No Kings a pro-king protest? Seems like a weird thing to counter protest, but it's your audience. So what should I expect? Funny you should mention that. This is 4460 texted in and had a great idea for a counter protest to No Kings. We should do an anti-trans march, and we call it No Queens. That was from 4460. Yep. I don't think that the protests are going to be that big this weekend. We'll see. This video is going viral. This lady is unbelievable. And if you're watching on the YouTube stream, you'll see the sarcasm just on full display when you watch the video. But when you listen to it, you'll hear her just absolutely demolish the No Kings crowd in a very, very concise way.
No Kings. Unless it was during the pandemic when all the mom and pop businesses were shut down, but the government said it was totally fine for all the major super rich corporations to continue operating. But I didn't really care because as long as I could get my Starbucks and go to Target, I was fine. No Kings. Except during the pandemic when we told people that they would lose their job unless they took a certain medical product, or they couldn't even go into certain restaurants without vaccine paperwork. That was crazy, but I didn't really care because I just complied. No Kings. Remember when we also told people that they had to not visit their loved ones that were sick and dying in the hospital, the elderly? They had to die alone. That was really sad. We shut down the schools, completely wrecked the developmental learning for a whole generation. I mean, that was tragic, but we don't really talk about that because that's over now. New outrage, No Kings. Remember when we were told over and over if we got that medical product, we for sure would not get sick. And even though the people that got it immediately did get sick, we were for sure told they wouldn't spread it. And then that gradually became, well, like 95%, like 75%. Okay, there's no evidence it does what we told everyone it does, but we've already made everyone take it that would anyway. And no one really cared because it's new outrage time, No Kings. And do you remember during that time, anyone who tried to bring attention to these issues on social media was censored or their account was banned? And limiting free speech at that time seemed okay to me. I didn't really think about it. No Kings. You don't hate authoritarianism. You just hate what you're told to hate by the algorithm and the news outlets.
Bingo. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And I would say that to 3449 as well. You are not fighting tyranny. You're not. You had an opportunity to, and you complied. What you're doing right now is you're falling into the outrage bait. But you're a leftist. So what should I expect? It's 11:30. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, tracking the potential for severe weather this weekend in Middle Tennessee. Right now, everybody along and east of 65, you're under a level 1 out of 5 risk. That's the lowest level. Everyone west of 65, a level 2 out of 5, so a little more riskier there, if you will. Can't rule out things like tornadoes if storms do pop up. The timeline is 10 o'clock Saturday night into 3 o'clock Sunday morning. An endangered child alert issued for a 17-year-old Marley Wilson, last seen early Friday morning. That's this morning in Lebanon. She may be driving a gold 2014 Nissan Versa with Tennessee plate 839BCDF and could be in the Smyrna area. Anyone with information urged to call Lebanon Police or TBI. Very easy number there, 1-800-TBI-FIND. Today's arraignment and initial appearance hearing for former National Security Advisor John Bolton lasted a total of 13 minutes. ABC's Catherine Falders reports Bolton pleaded not guilty to all 18 counts, charging him with unlawful retention and dissemination of classified information.
Bolton arriving at court this morning, we're told that he surrendered, he was processed. There was obviously a warrant for his arrest, so he went and turned himself in at this federal courthouse, processed behind closed doors. There's no cameras in court.
Right now in Middle Tennessee, the Rutherford County School Board approving state grants to boost safety across all campuses. New weapons detection systems now in place at schools. Thousands of staff going to receive intruder response and medical training. Some Rutherford County schools also get bullet-resistant windows funded through the Tennessee Safe Schools Initiative. And if you're getting more spam phone calls as of late, you're not alone.
Americans are now getting 2.5 billion robocalls per month. That is the highest level in 6 years. Many from scammers claiming to be from banks. Artificial intelligence is one factor behind the increase.
That's ABC's Stephanie Ramos. Pesky text messages on the rise, too, with 19 billion going out every year now. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thank you, Ken. Chris Hand here for my friends at Cabinet Makeovers. If you need to make an investment into your house, I highly recommend my guy Dan over at Cabinet Makeovers. We just made the investment in our house, and I didn't even know that I was going to love it as much as I did. They're these brand new pull-out cabinets, and they've changed everything in my kitchen. We're not bending over and digging to the back of the cabinets for pots and pans anymore. The pantry is completely pull-out design so the kids can grab their snacks. Super easy, super convenient, and they're wonderful. I honestly, I didn't think I'd love them as much as I do, and I'm floored by how amazing they are. My wife loves them too. They were installed by a family-owned company, Cabinet Makeovers. They've been doing this for over 45 years. Everything they do is Tennessee-made. Every cabinet, pull-out, drawer, it's all wood construction, full extension, soft close glides. The kids can't slam them if they tried. The craftsmanship is top-notch. Their team has decades of experience, and I feel that experience every time I walk in my kitchen. It's really the investment that you need to make. And you're going to be so grateful you did. Nothing makes a kitchen better than a well-designed kitchen. And physically, you're not breaking your back to reach into the cabinets any longer. You're wanting to invite people over to your home and see the brand new kitchen. My wife has been showing them off like crazy. And they don't just stop at kitchens. Cabinet Makeovers designs custom closets, pantries, cabinetry for every room in your house, all built with that same Tennessee pride and biblical values that guide their business. So do what I did. Make the investment in your home. Call Cabinet Makeovers, 615-331-7010, 615-331-7010, or hit the website and see pictures and videos of their work, cabinetmakeoverstn.com. It's 11:37, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got Ken Weaver in the newsroom. We've had King Louie producing today. All these people saying no King, so I think King Louie's been doing a great job. Am I the only one that calls you King Louie? I think Dan calls you Louie, right?
Yeah, Dan. Yep, Louie.
Louie.
You and John probably call me King Louie.
I feel like King Louie flows.
I love King Louie.
Yeah, it's King Louie when you're on my show. So we are a fan of one King. It's just King Louie all day.
Yes, sir.
Do you know that they're going to be protesting against you all weekend?
I'm ready for it.
All right.
I'm with it.
King Louie. So Mike Johnson, well, before we do that, let's just get into it. You know what time of day it is. We do it every day at this time. This is the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
All the stories that couldn't fill a whole segment, stories that we didn't have a chance to get to, and stories that we know you want to talk about. This is the lightning round. Ooh, King Louie, quick on the lightning. I like it. All right, so we were talking about the No Kings protests. Mike Johnson called them Hate America rallies. It really upset my liberal older sister. I only know that because she's Facebook friends with my wife. She doesn't tell me those things. But I found it funny because I remember how often they told me MAGA hates America. Remember that? Do you remember that? Us MAGA guys, we really hate America. Western Lensman put this together. This is Joe Scarborough describing the No Kings rally and pushing back on Mike Johnson, saying that these individuals hate America, and then immediately followed by a clip from 2024 where Joe Scarborough on MSNBC is saying MAGA hates America.
And with a smile on his face saying, if you disagree with Donald Trump, then you hate America. They have talking points where they are calling people who disagree with them members of the, quote, hate America crowd, and calling these, quote, hate America rallies. It is dangerous, and it is beneath contempt.
It's dangerous, you guys. It's beneath contempt, Joe Scarborough says. How could you, because you disagree with Donald Trump, you hate America? These are talking points, guys. These are, who would say something like that? Oh, Joe Scarborough would.
These people, and I will say these people, these Trumpers, who have spent their entire life attacking people for being insufficiently patriotic, and then they lose, and they just hate America.
Oh, got it. It's okay when you do it. It's not okay when we do it. The difference is that we love America, and we saw that Joe Biden and the Democrats were destroying America because they actually hate America. It's not a talking point when we're just pointing out the truth. Does that make sense? No Kings. Sorry. That's so dumb. So dumb. Oh, by the way, that rhetoric, those talking points, you know what happens when you say those to crazy leftists, right? Well, they actually kill people. When you call ICE agents the Gestapo, they take shots at ICE agents from the roof of a Dallas ICE facility, right? From a nearby Dallas ICE facility, they shoot at ICE agents. When you call us racist and evil, they kill Charlie Kirk. No Kings. Next story in the lightning round. We were talking to Monica Page about this earlier. They had an unbelievable ceremony at the White House for Charlie Kirk this week. The president showing back up to the White House at like 3 o'clock in the morning. The very next day, he does the Medal of Freedom ceremony for Charlie, which I thought was awesome. And I loved that they did it. A lot of the Turning Point team was there in attendance. It's a big team, though. Not everybody could be in attendance. And Erica Kirk understood that. And this video has been going viral. Mikey McCoy posted it on X. And it's Erica Kirk showing up at the Turning Point offices, and she's letting everybody see the Medal of Freedom. And I thought this was so cool and so classy on so many levels.
Of our Turning Point USA family, but I want you guys all to see the Medal of Freedom and be able to look at it in the back of it. You guys are all part of the legacy.
I love that. So I wanted you guys to see it, be able to look at it, look at the back of it. You guys are all part of the legacy, and it's a cool moment. And just for the record, when she says look at the back of it, it's because this is the first Medal of Freedom ever to be engraved with the Christian cross on the back. Charlie Kirk is a martyr for the Christian faith in 2025. Make no mistake about it. And Erica Kirk saying this isn't just Charlie's Medal of Freedom. This is everyone's. You guys are part of the legacy.
So we put Amen on the back. It's the first and last time I put a cross on it. Wow. But yeah, you guys can
She's just.
will sit here so all of you guys can I don't care. Everyone can have their moment and see.
It's pretty cool. I'll stay in here as long as I can, so make sure everybody sees it. I could go through. I know all the people in that video, and to see Erica down there with the soldiers over at Turning Point USA, it's a very cool moment. And if you haven't seen the video, it's on my Instagram account as well, at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. Joy Behar. She figured out what's going on. She is hip to the game. I didn't realize how smart the ladies at The View were. I hadn't thought about this, and I am stunned at this revelation. Joy Behar, she said that the real issue about the Virginia Attorney General candidate Jay Jones, who was threatening and sending messages about wanting to kill Republican legislators in Virginia and wanting to see their children die in their mother's arms. Jay Jones, that guy. Joy Behar figured out the real part of this scandal that the media is too afraid to talk about. It's not that Democrats aren't denouncing it. It's that Republicans aren't denouncing the texts from Jay Jones.
Because what's come up in this conversation is this individual, Jay Jones, who's running for Attorney General in Virginia. He's about a 36-year-old man running for Attorney General who had some leaked text messages come out where he aspired to violence against Republicans. I don't know why it's hard for people, and I'm not this table.
I saw that.
Let me just say
this.
this.
But only Democrats denounced him, no Republicans.
What? No Republicans have denounced the Democrat Attorney General, Jay Jones, who wanted to kill Republican legislators and watch their children die in their mother arms? No Republicans. You sure about that, Joy? I think it's important to point out once again that The View is under the news umbrella at ABC. It's not an entertainment show. It's under the umbrella of ABC News. And there are people that hear that and they're going to believe her. They will. They will. I think it's also important to point out that Jay Jones didn't lose a single endorsement from any Democrat or Democrat group in light of these text messages. On the flip side, when the young Republicans text chat leaks, and it's young kids and a few older guys, and they're joking, behind the scenes, Republicans are told we have to officially denounce it. No. Nope. I won't. People say mean things. Get lost. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. This one, I mean, you guys want a medal for base dads. This guy earns a huge base dad award. This happened in Maine at a school board meeting. A dad showed up, and he's protesting men being able to change in front of their daughters in the locker room. And he does so by having a few of his friends, females, adult females, change into their gym clothes in front of the school board. And he says, oh, is this a problem? Does this make you uncomfortable? Well, now you know how our daughters feel.
I had an opportunity tonight to be heroes. You guys became zeros. Now I'm about to show you guys how uncomfortable it is to be young girls.
Point of order. We've asked that we use.
Oh, so wait. They're covered. You feel uncomfortable? Because that's what these young girls feel like when a boy walks into the locker room and starts unchanging in front of them. Yeah, you feel uncomfortable, right? Feel uncomfortable, huh? That's what these young girls feel like every time a young boy changes in front of them.
Based. It's not to be missed. If you're not watching on the YouTube stream, you can't see it. But he's wearing a Turning Point sweatshirt, and he's wearing one of the Turning Point gold 47 hats in celebration of President Trump. This guy is taking what Charlie taught and putting it into action. I love it. Oh, you're uncomfortable by this? But boys are allowed to do this in front of our daughters? No.
You can look at me like that all you want. That's exactly how they feel. And you, Miss Muffy, oh, well, I don't know if I stand with girls or if I stand with my, with the law. So you don't care how young girls feel? You don't care about the safety of young kids? What about what happened in Virginia with that boy that raped a young girl in a bathroom?
Loudoun County.
Then got sent to another school and did it again. What are we going to do when that happens here? How are you going to look that girl in the face and say, sorry, I didn't protect you? This is Maine's capital. We should be setting an example for the rest of the state.
Amen.
You know what example you guys are setting? That we do not care about the young girls in this state.
He does, though. And we need to see more based parents like this stepping up and speaking out. I love to see it. I do. I will also say, homeschool your kids. But it's hard. It's hard. But choose your hard. Choose your hard. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. New York City schools are actually suing the Trump administration over funding cuts tied to their transgender bathroom policies. This is from the New York Post. New York City is taking the Trump administration to court over a decision to claw back $47 million in federal funds because of the public schools' transgender policies. The federal lawsuit filed Thursday claims that the already promised funding grants can't be revoked by the U.S. Education Department because the Fed's justification relies on a misreading of civil rights laws. Federal education officials said in a letter last month that the city's school bathroom policies accommodating transgender students were in violation of Title IX sex discrimination laws. It said the city could lose millions in magnet school funding unless the longstanding policies are overhauled. But the suit points out that the feds, including the Trump administration, have for years confirmed the city Department of Education was in compliance with sex discrimination laws. The feds' recent announcement is a blatant attempt by the feds to skirt the proper procedures for making decisions that could roughly affect 7,700 students, the city's suit claims. They say any change would also violate state and local laws, which mandate public schools allow access to bathrooms for students based on their gender identity, the city said. The abrupt about face by the department, seemingly based on the Trump administration's fixation with upending the department's previously accepted interpretation of Title IX, puts politics before public schools. No. You are misreading that entirely. You are putting politics before kids. And the Trump administration is saying if you want to play hardball, we can do that too. And if you want to allow boys in the restroom with girls, well, we're going to make it an expensive decision for you. I stand behind the Trump administration in this fight, and I think the overwhelming majority of the public stands behind the Trump administration in this fight. It's something we're going to be keeping our eyes on here. Got another story for you in the lightning round. Speaking of New York City, Zohran Mamdani, he had a big debate with Andrew Cuomo the other night, and he said that Cuomo should be disqualified for running for mayor. Not because he's Italian and he gets a little handsy from time to time, which is the mayoral race in New York is so sad. You got a guy that's a failed governor and a Democrat. You got a guy that's a socialist and a communist. And then you got one guy that actually loves New York and has no chance of winning the race. It's crazy. New York is lost. But listen to Zohran Mamdani explain why Andrew Cuomo is not qualified to be mayor of New York.
Candidate in the Democratic primary for him to set foot in a mosque. He had more than 10 years, and he couldn't name a single mosque at the last debate we had that he visited. And what Muslims want in this city is what every community wants and deserves. They want equality and they want respect. And it took me to get you to even see those Muslims as part of this city. And that, frankly, is something that is shameful and is why so many New Yorkers have lost faith in this politics.
Yeah. You're not qualified to be mayor because you haven't visited a mosque. We want respect and equality. Do I have to visit your place of worship to give you respect and equality? Also, imagine on September 12th, 2002, if we had a time machine and we could go back to September 12th, 2002, imagine telling one of the first responders, a firefighter or police officer that was there on that day, that we were going to import hundreds of thousands of these kinds of people into the city, and that we would be demanding for American politicians to visit mosques in order to be qualified. Imagine what they would say. I don't know what they'd say. I'm just imagining. I'm just imagining. Got time for one more story here in the lightning round. This one also focuses around Islam. The video has been going viral. There's a woman she's Irish. She's Irish, and she lives in the Midwest. She's a new convert to Islam, and she is upset that people are upset with her, saying she shouldn't be wearing a hijab. I don't know who's saying this to her. It's probably people online, but she took to the internet to speak out.
Normally, I don't do this, but somebody posted on one of my TikTok videos about I shouldn't be wearing this hijab with this accent. Well, let me tell you something. I am Irish, and I am from the South, and I will wear this hijab because I wear it for Allah, not for no man, not for anybody else. I wear it for Allah, and if you have a problem with it, I don't know what to tell you. This is a peaceful religion. You need to do a little Google search.
Okay. I did a Google search. Since 9/11, the religion of peace has the do-gooders of the religion of peace. 48,334 deadly terror attacks. It's Googling, man. Googling gets you in trouble. 11:54, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand. Spooky season in full effect, and Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling bringing scary good deals for you. Here's one that's going to not take any effort at all. All you got to do is grab yourself a pumpkin and then make the kids do some carving. If you carve Buzz the Bee, the beehive mascot, into a pumpkin and throw it on social media and tag Busy Bee, you get a free Beehive Club membership. That's it. That's all you got to do. Show off your carving skills and snag some real perks. Now for the treats. You need HVAC service. You schedule your fall maintenance. You get a free dryer vent cleaning. That's a $229 value. If you got plumbing issues with any repair, they're going to flush your water heater for free. Your pipes are going to thank you. And if you're thinking about a new HVAC system, this deal is unbelievable. A free 10-year parts and 5-year labor warranty. That's a $750 value with any system install. So don't let the home headaches haunt you. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today, where the service is solid and the savings are spooky good. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Or find them online, busybeehvac.com.
12 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, I'm still seeing